Chapter 1204. Although Lin Yen knew that this man was a super-evolved being, she hadn't expected that the white crane, who was also a super-evolved being, would be as weak as an ant in front of this man. The man hadn't even made a move, yet the white crane had collapsed. If she had known that there was such a huge disparity in their abilities, Lin Yen wouldn't have said that she had been held hostage. At that moment, Lin Yen felt extremely guilty. She was the one who had harmed the white crane. The man had barely taken a few steps when he halted abruptly. Lin Yen saw that the white crane had woken up. It was hugging the man's ankle tightly and biting him. It was mumbling something indistinctly. If one listened carefully, it seemed to be saying, "I'll bite you to death. White crane, run." Lin Yen heaved a sigh of relief when she saw that the white crane had woken up. The smile on the man's face vanished, replaced by a look of helplessness. When she saw that the man was distracted, Lin Yen mustered all her courage and unleashed all her potential. Adrenaline surged as she used all her strength to punch the man's face. However, the moment her fist came into contact with the man's flawless face, Lin Yan's eyes rolled back and she collapsed to the ground, just like the white crane. Lin Yen fell on top of the white crane and pinned it beneath her. You slut. How dare you hit my senior sister? Do you know who I am?" The white crane scrambled to its feet and hugged Lin Yen. The man sighed softly and said helplessly, "Did you see me attack? You didn't attack. What happened to my senior sister?" The white crane fumed. The man held his chin and revealed a puzzled expression. After a moment, he said, "Maybe. I drank too much." "Liar." The white crane yelled, "My senior sister didn't drink. Fifth brother." Just as the white crane was about to say something, a woman walked over from behind. The woman's long hair reached her waist and was very soft. She had a sweet appearance, especially her eyes, which were purple and very lively. From head to toe, she was a super luxury brand that was priceless in the market. Even the watch on her wrist was sky-high. The woman was wearing a cheongsam that accentuated her slender figure. "10th sister." The man nodded when he saw the woman. "Oh my God." The woman's expression changed when she saw Lin Yen on the ground. "Fifth brother, did little sister attack you?" The woman knew that the man wouldn't lay a finger on her. However, Lin Yen was unconscious on the ground. There was only one possibility. His sister had attacked fifth brother. "Obviously," the man said. The woman sighed, seemingly more helpless than the man. Fifth brother was a natural-born evolved person. He used a very peculiar ability, which was known as the power of evolution. Fifth brother's power of evolution would passively defend against anyone who attacked him, be it an evolved human or a normal human, even if it was a wild beast. In other words, he didn't need to do anything at all. If anyone attacked him, then hitting him was the same as hitting themselves, or even worse. Bullshit. Hearing the conversation between the woman and the man, the white crane suddenly stood up and sneered, "Nonsense, there is such an ability, I don't believe it." After saying that, he punched the man again. Plop. The woman watched as the white crane fell to the ground and fainted. The man held his chin and looked at the white crane quietly. He said thoughtfully, "Maybe he hasn't woken up yet." Chapter 1205. After some time, Lin Yen suddenly opened her eyes and sat up swiftly. Lin Yen, who was in a daze, glanced at the beautiful woman in the cheongsam. "Little sister, are you all right?" The woman in the cheongsam glanced at Lin Yen with a worried expression. Instinctively, Lin Yen shook her head in response. However, she soon turned to the woman in the cheongsam with a wary expression. She seemed to have been punched hard by someone just now, and then completely fainted. At this moment, the white crane had also woken up. It looked at the man in leather with a strange expression. What kind of monster was this man? "Who are you? What do you want?" Lin Yen glanced at the woman in the cheongsam and then at the man. The woman in the cheongsam sighed and glanced at the man reproachfully. Fifth brother, now is not the time. Let's go, the woman in the cheongsam told the man. The man's smile remained on his face as he replied softly, are you teaching me what to do? Fifth brother, that's not what I meant. The woman in the cheongsam sighed helplessly as she glanced at her fifth brother. Lin Yen and Bai He glanced at each other. Bai He stared at Lin Yen with a puzzled expression. It didn't seem like Lin Yen was being held hostage. Something was amiss. As the culprit, Lin Yen was naturally more baffled than the white crane. However, she was certain that she didn't know the man in front of her. She had never seen the beautiful woman before either. However, these two strangers whom she had never seen before claimed that she was their little sister. A lazy listener, how much can you remember about the Mu family? The man in the leather suit asked as his eyes landed on Lin Yen. The Mu family? Lin Yen looked even more puzzled when she heard the man in the leather suit. I don't know what you're talking about, Lin Yen replied. Little sister, you don't know about the Mu family? The woman in the cheongsam was astonished. You lived in the Mu family when you were young. Have you forgotten? Lin Yen was speechless. Fifth brother, does this have anything to do with little sister's ability? Or is there something else? The woman in the cheongsam asked the man. The man shook his head and replied calmly, Father has never told me about her ability. However, he sent her away from him and arranged for her to stay with the Mu family. He must have his reasons. The woman in the cheongsam sighed. Boss and his men have been investigating little sister all these years. Fifth brother, why don't you ask boss? Boss? The man in the leather suit looked disdainful as he quipped, do you think he will tell me? That's true. With the relationship between fifth brother and boss, I'm afraid. The woman in cheongsam murmured. Fifth brother, what do you plan to do now? The woman in the cheongsam looked at the man. She did not understand what was the purpose of fifth brother's sudden appearance in front of her youngest sister. Although his father didn't say it clearly, his attitude was clear. He had always asked boss and the others to investigate the news of his little sister after she left the Mu family, but he had never asked anyone to find her. Since his father didn't say anything, he hoped that his little sister's life wouldn't be disturbed by others. However, fifth brother's sudden appearance today had obviously destroyed what his father hoped to see. Chapter 1206. The man in leather scrutinized Lin Yen for a long time before he said, although father didn't say it, everyone knows how much he misses little sister. As his children, we should help him make some decisions. Lin Yen and Bai He stood at the side, confused. They had no idea what the two of them were talking about. First, it was little sister. Then, it was the Mu family. Now, it was their father, fifth brother. You should know that father must have his reasons for not letting us come into contact with little sister. For example, father sent little sister to the Mu family. As soon as the woman in the cheongsam finished speaking, the corners of the man's mouth curled up slightly. There was an inexplicable smile on his face. Are you trying to say that if someone finds out about my little sister's identity and ability, my little sister will be in great danger, even if she is by my side? The woman in the cheongsam wanted to say something but hesitated. Although this was what she was thinking, she couldn't say it out loud like the man in front of her. Back then, we were still young and didn't have the ability to protect our loved ones. Tenth sister, do you think that we can't protect her now? Asked the man. Fifth brother, that's not what I meant. The woman in the cheongsam shook her head. I don't care if some people have taken a fancy to little sister's ability or if they want to achieve instant success or something else. As long as I'm here, no one can overtake me. I will crush their ambitions. The man smiled faintly. The woman in the cheongsam glanced at her fifth brother. Indeed, the man in front of her was the most powerful among all their siblings. Even their father had praised him and said that he was a rare talent. However, he also had a common flaw that all geniuses had. Arrogant, conceited, and condescending. Hot book library. This arrogance had long been ingrained in his bones along with his ability. Perhaps one day, even a genius like him would fall into an abyss of eternal damnation because of this fatal weakness. Little sister was their father's only biological daughter. How could their father not dote on her? However, as powerful as their father was, he still didn't dare keep her by his side. Instead, he had sent her to the Mu family. This was enough to prove that even their father wasn't 100% confident that he could guarantee her safety. This was enough to show what kind of terrifying threat his little sister was facing. The world of evolvers was not as simple as they thought. His father did not acknowledge his little sister and let her live an ordinary life. All of this was so that his little sister could live a peaceful life. In other words, he could not let his little sister become a tool for someone with ulterior motives. Fifth brother, just as the woman in Cheongsam was about to say something, her expression suddenly changed, and she subconsciously looked around. The corner of the man's mouth rose slightly, as if everything was within his expectations. Since a long time ago, someone has been following us in the dark. It seems like they want to use us to confirm our little sister's identity, the man in leather said. Fifth brother, since you know, then why? The woman in the Cheongsam looked surprised. In this way, wouldn't he be pushing his little sister into a dangerous situation? The man in the leather jacket didn't have any expression on his face. He just said faintly, some things are mutual. Some people want to find little sister through us. At this point, the smile on the man's face deepened. But I can also use my little sister to lure the snake out of its hole. Chapter 1207. The woman's expression turned ugly when she heard the man's explanation. This was her fifth brother's fatal flaw. He was arrogant and conceited. She had always believed that perhaps there would be a day when fifth brother's arrogance that was deep in his bones would harm himself. He knew that he would be in great danger if someone found out about his sister's identity. However, he had still done it. The man's eyes landed on Lin Yan, who was dumbfounded. He chuckled softly and said, "It seems like we got the wrong person. You can leave now." The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Did they think she was a fool? She had been eavesdropping on their conversation. Was she going to be in danger soon? However, Lin Yan couldn't figure it out. Were they psychopaths with powerful evolved abilities, or had they really gotten the wrong person? Lin Yan didn't think much of their threat. Hurry up and leave. Lin Yan shot a look at the white crane. Before long, the two of them left as though they were escaping. Lin Yan drove to Himuyan's place and scanned her surroundings to make sure that no one was following her. Then, she got out of the car with the white crane. "Give it to me." Lin Yan extended her hand to the white crane. "What is it?" asked the white crane. "The money in my pocket." Lin Yan glanced at the white crane. "This." The white crane took out a stack of cash reluctantly. "Don't you know that I don't deserve a reward? I will return this money to that psychopath when I meet him," Lin Yan told the white crane earnestly. "Oh." Although the white crane agreed verbally, it looked as though it was saying, "Whatever you say, I'll admit defeat if I believe you." After entering the house, Himuyan stared at the white crane curiously. "Hello, sister." The white crane widened its eyes and grinned at Himuyan. Himuyan burst out laughing. "Whose child is this? What a sweet tongue." Himuyan glanced at the white crane. "Sister, I'm a child of the sacred land," replied the white crane. As she spoke, the smile on Himuyan's face suddenly froze. A look of shock and fear appeared in her eyes. "Go watch TV in the room," Lin Yan instructed the white crane. After the white crane left, Lin Yan glanced at the absent-minded Himuyan. "Mom, what's wrong?" "I'm fine." Himuyan shook her head, and a smile returned to her face. "That's right," the child mentioned the Holy Land. "What Holy Land?" Lin Yan sighed and replied, "It's a long story. It's a school." "Oh yeah. Mom, I met a lunatic who insisted that he was my brother." "Do I have a brother?" Lin Yan grinned at Himuyan. "Your brother?" There was something wrong with Himuyan's expression. However, he said, "Child, where did you get an older brother?" "Yeah. He even said that I grew up with the Mu family. Lin Yan quipped. Mu family? Cold sweat broke out on He Muyun's forehead. Could it be that the people from the Mu family had come looking for them? If that was really the case, who knew what kind of trouble it would cause? He Muyun tried her best to remain calm. Where's the lunatic you mentioned? Lin Yan shook her head. They said that they had the wrong person and left. However, He Muyun did not let her guard down. She had a feeling that things were not as simple as they seemed. If the Mu family really came looking for them, everyone would be in big trouble. Chapter 1208. He Muyun scanned Lin Yan from head to toe with a frown. Lin Yan's situation was unique and complicated. It didn't just involve the Mu family. Even He Muyun herself wasn't sure. Only Wang Jingyang knew the truth. Wang Jingyang had brought Lin Yan away because he had a motive. However, once the Mu family had appeared, all his efforts would have been for naught. He Muyun studied Lin Yan, who seemed to be a stranger to the Mu family. Just as Wang Jingyang had said, Lin Yan had cut off all ties with them. This had nothing to do with anyone else. It had been Lin Yan's own choice. Xiaoyan, are you free these days? He Muyun's eyes trailed to Lin Yan as she asked with a smile. Lin Yan instinctively replied, I don't have much time. There's a competition. Mom, why did you ask? What's the matter? He Muyun replied, I want to travel and have some fun. If you're free, we can travel together. If not, we can wait for the next time. He Muyun pondered carefully and realized that she shouldn't have brought Lin Yan away. She should have told Wang Jingyang about this and let him decide. Mom, when I'm done with my work, we can go wherever you want. Lin Yan grinned at He Muyun. Okay. He Muyun nodded. Lin Yan didn't notice anything amiss. After Lin Yan left with the white crane, He Muyun called Wang Jingyang. What happened? Wang Jingyang's voice came from the other end. He Muyun seldom contacted Wang Jingyang. If she took the initiative to contact Wang Jingyang, something must have happened. Miss was here just now. He Muyun frowned. I think the Mu family is here. He Muyun immediately told Wang Jingyang everything that had happened. Wang Jingyang, who was on the other end of the phone, fell silent. After some time, Wang Jingyang spoke again. Are you sure about the Mu family? The Mu family's appearance didn't surprise Wang Jingyang. As early as a few months ago, the little fatty who ran at night took a video of them and posted it on the internet. Wang Jingyang was already mentally prepared, but he did not expect it to come so soon. Of course, the Mu family wouldn't harm Lin Yan. However, the Mu family wouldn't believe the truth, and he couldn't reveal it to them. Hence, if the Mu family found Lin Yan, they might harm her and the Mu family. No matter what it was, Wang Jingyang did not wish to see it. However, the current situation was indeed giving Wang Jingyang a headache. It was very difficult for him to deal with it properly. Are you sure it's the Mu family? After a while, Wang Jingyang asked. He Muyun thought about it for a long time and said, I'm not sure, but I feel that it's very suspicious. I can only say that he's from the Mu family. Otherwise, why would he ask you if you remember the Mu family? The person who asked such a question might not be from the Mu family. Don't act rashly. Report to me if anything happens. Okay, I understand. After hanging up, He Muyun's brows were still furrowed. After all these years, she had gotten used to being ordinary. Or rather, she had returned to being ordinary. He Muyun had treated Lin Yan like her own daughter. End of this chapter. Chapter 1231. Master. After driving for a while, the taxi stopped. Before she could check the surveillance footage, Lin Yan spoke to the driver. The driver didn't respond and remained motionless. Lin Yan was bewildered. She turned around and was startled by what she saw. The driver seemed to be sleeping. However, Lin Yan soon realized that he hadn't been driving due to fatigue. He had fainted. Lin Yen took out her phone, which showed that it was 7:15 p.m. Her phone battery was less than 3%. Perhaps it was because it was too remote, but the signal was very bad. She couldn't even make a call. Lin Yen tried all sorts of methods, including pinching the driver's philtrum, but she still couldn't wake him up. She didn't dare be too violent, as he was an ordinary person after all. Lin Yen felt uncomfortable in the car. She couldn't tell what was wrong, but she felt uncomfortable. Instinctively, Lin Yen raised her head and surveyed her surroundings. Lin Yen was startled when she saw the forest on her left. Although it was already dark, Lin Yen could still see 7 to 8 young men lined up neatly, glaring at her. Lin Yen didn't know if it was because of the cold weather or their cold gazes, but she shuddered. Lin Yen immediately opened the door and got out of the car. She lowered her head and pretended not to see them. However, she quickened her pace. Lin Yen wasn't stupid, so she naturally knew that this was unusual. It was strange that these people had appeared out of nowhere in the wilderness. Furthermore, they were all staring at her, which made her scalp tingle. Besides, Lin Yen already felt immense pressure from being stared at by those people. She found it difficult to breathe, as though there was a mountain pressing down on her. She couldn't even stand upright. The taxi driver must have fainted because he couldn't withstand the pressure of these people. Even an evolved being like her would find it difficult to withstand it, let alone an ordinary person like the driver. Evolved beings, Lin Yen broke out in a cold sweat. These people weren't just evolved beings, but they were also at a very high level. Lin Yen didn't know how high they were, but she was sure that they were dozens of levels higher than her. Who had she offended? She had just left the tiger's den and entered the wolf's den. What kind of sin had she committed? Couldn't they let her live a normal life? Lin Yen lowered her head and took a few steps when she sensed a shadow in front of her. She raised her head and saw a man standing in front of her. Before Lin Yen could think or speak, the man had already strangled her. She couldn't fight back at all. It was like the difference between a baby and an adult. Lin Yan's understanding of the power of an evolved being refreshed. The man merely raised his hand, but Lin Yen felt as though the sky had collapsed and she couldn't breathe. "Let's go," a hoarse voice rang out as an old man with a walking stick appeared before Lin Yen. Yes. Lin Yen was like a prey that was being taken away without any resistance. The young men followed the old man with the cane and slowly walked into the deep forest. Although Lin Yen was being strangled, the man seemed to know his limits and didn't hurt her. Lin Yen wanted to cry, but no tears would come. Someone would drag her back to prison. Lin Yen wanted to question them. Even if she was going to die, she wanted to know who they were. She didn't even know who they were. She suddenly recalled the conversation between the man who claimed to be her fifth brother and the woman in Cheongsam. End of chapter. Chapter 1232. Lin Yen could still remember the conversation between the man and woman who claimed to be her fifth brother and 10th sister. Someone had their eyes on them, and their target was their little sister. If this group of people were really the people that the man and woman had mentioned, she would have been wronged. This was an undeserved calamity. She didn't know the man and woman at all, let alone their little sister. Unfortunately, Lin Yen couldn't speak now. Otherwise, she would have explained herself. She didn't know what the man had done, but Lin Yen felt her vision turn black and she lost consciousness a second later. The group of them had only taken a few steps when they were suddenly blocked. The old man stood with both hands on the top of his walking stick as he stared ahead coldly. About 10 meters ahead of them was a boy who was about 5 or 6 years old. He was dressed in black and had a cold expression on his face. He looked like a tiger blocking the way. The little boy looked like he was carved from jade, but he made people shudder. His eyes, which seemed to be devoid of human emotions, made people feel very uncomfortable. The boy's eyes scanned the old man and the others coldly. Finally, his gaze landed on the unconscious Lin Yen and didn't move away. There were many people around the boy. There were men and women, old and young, and they were dressed in all sorts of strange ways. Hey, hey, hey. Pei, let me do it. Let me do it. Beside the little boy stood a handsome young man in red with a slightly ferocious look on his face. After getting the boy's tacit approval, the red-clothed youngster was surrounded by flames that soared into the sky. In the next second, the red-clothed youngster disappeared and was replaced by the tall man whose body was burning with giant flames. Evolved being, the old man frowned when he saw this. He hadn't expected an evolved being to appear all of a sudden. Furthermore, he was quite powerful and could even control the power of nature. Evolved beings had different paths of evolution. Some rare evolved beings could indeed control the power of nature. Who is it? The old man with the walking stick glanced at them and asked expressionlessly. Immortal and indestructible. Xiao Meng, who was dressed in a white chiffon dress, was holding a snow-white umbrella as she floated in the air and giggled. It's actually a child. The old man's walking stick shook on the ground. As soon as he said that, the man in fire descended from the sky and crashed into the old man. Boom! There was a loud bang that sounded like a muffled thunder. The old man didn't move, but a young man behind him immediately stepped forward and threw a punch. The flaming man was sent flying and fell heavily to the ground. Seeing this, the people around Pei furrowed their brows. What a disgrace, a great humiliation. Shoo shoo shoo. What do you know? I suddenly have a stomachache. The red-clothed youth, who had been beaten back to his original form, shouted. Listening to you boast gives me a headache. If you're not strong enough, then you're not strong enough. You're always looking for excuses. If it's not a stomachache, it's not a lack of rest, it's not a lack of rest, it's not a lack of condition. There are 365 days in a year, and you can find a different excuse. Remember, men, don't make excuses. The red-clothed youth frowned and said with a serious expression, Uncle, I'm only a child now. Without giving the red-clothed teenager a chance to speak, the old man slammed his walking stick on the ground. As if it was some kind of order, the several youths behind the old man immediately turned into afterimages and rushed towards the group led by Pei. The man who had grabbed Lin Yan threw her to the ground and joined in. Pei's eyes narrowed when he saw Lin Yan on the ground. Pei had finally seen his mother. If Pei was here, would Pei Qian be far away? Beep. The battle between father and son was about to begin. End of this chapter. Chapter 1233. An old man beside Pei stepped forward as if he was giving orders on Pei's behalf. The old man stood on Pei's left and spoke word by word. His every move carried an overwhelming majesty. Keep them alive, the old man said coldly. Master Long, why do you want to keep them alive? The young man in red looked at the old man with a puzzled expression. The old man who was addressed as Master Long said indifferently, you need to eliminate the roots when you cut the grass. Let's see which evolved force is behind these people. How dare they do something to the leader's mother? The young man in red touched his nose. Oh, Master Long, what you said makes sense. However, my stomach is not feeling well today. I'm not in a good state. You guys go ahead, swoosh. As soon as the young man in red finished speaking, the old man with the crutch moved extremely quickly. In the blink of an eye, he had broken through the defense of several undying, indestructible members and arrived beside Pei. The evolved power displayed by the old man surprised several undying, indestructible members. They had wanted to intercept the old man, but not only did they fail to achieve their goal, but they also suffered a loss at the hands of the old man. Hey, hey, hey. The area within 30 meters of me is a forbidden zone. The lowly Xiao Meng, who was floating in the air, made a face at the old man with the crutch. Little brat who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, the old man shouted coldly and reached out to grab Xiao Meng. In the next second, the old man's pupils suddenly shrank. The little girl in the air had turned into a limitless evil spirit that was over 100 meters tall. The old man looked up and saw that even the sky had turned blood red. Illusion? The old man frowned deeply. He swung the crutch in his hand with the weight of thousands of kilograms, but it did not cause any damage to the limitless evil spirit. When did I fall for the illusion? The old man kept recalling in his mind. He only glanced at the little girl. Before the old man could think further, he felt a sharp pain in his arm. In the next second, the evil spirit disappeared, and everything returned to normal. "Ha ha ha, you old fart, I'll give you a stab." The young man in red held a bloody dagger in his hand and laughed proudly. However, Xiao Meng, who was in midair, was flustered and exasperated. "You idiot, I just dragged him into my illusion. If you stab him, my illusion will also dissipate." Xiao Meng looked at the young man in red with disappointment. "You could have just stabbed him to death. Are you a spy from the other side? You idiot, idiot, idiot." Hearing this, the red-clothed youth rubbed his nose somewhat awkwardly. Soon after, he said, "What? I was just intending to finish off this old bastard with one strike. However, my stomach hurts and I missed. This is not my fault. It's a problem with my condition." "Hulia, you really can't do anything right." Suddenly, Chief Long shouted from the side. "I say, Master Long, I just didn't stab him to death. Why don't you just kill him? Is there a need to hurt a child's heart like this?" At this moment, Lord Long's forehead was already dripping with cold sweat. The red-clothed youth, Hulia, was puzzled. "Chief Long, is this old fart so strong that even you are sweating?" As soon as Hulia finished speaking, a terrifying and violent evolutionary force suddenly surged out. In an instant, Hulia's body felt as if it was being pressed down by a mountain. Even his breathing began to quicken. "It's Pei Li." Hulia looked at Pei Li in horror. This was a sign that Pei Li had lost control. Damn! What's going on? Pei Li can't be losing control, right? Hulia was so scared that he almost fell to the ground. End of this chapter. Chapter 1234. Xiao Meng, Chief Long, and the others looked as if the sky was about to fall. Xiao Meng flew far away with a whoosh. "What are you waiting for? Are you looking for death? Run for your life. Retreat quickly." Chief Long's gaze swept across the crowd and he shouted. As Chief Long spoke, all the members of the Unkillable and Indestructible looked at Pei Li at the same time. In the next second, everyone retreated in all directions as if they had seen a ghost. They had seen Pei Li lose control. If they did not retreat now, they would all die in Pei Li's hands. After losing control, Pei Li was a true demon. The old man with the crutch and his subordinates did not know what had happened. They only knew that the evolvers who were fighting with them had all fled, and only the little boy was left in place. "Kill." The old man with the crutch waved his hand. A young man took out a long dagger and immediately stabbed at Pei Li. The dagger stabbed into Pei Li's abdomen so smoothly that the young man was a little surprised. However, there was no expression of pain on the young man's face. Under everyone's gaze, the young man pulled out the dagger from his abdomen. Not even a trace of blood could be seen. The wound on Pei Li's abdomen had already recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. However, there was a hole on his clothes from the dagger. This? The young man could not believe it. He had never heard of or seen such a sensational self-healing ability. The members of the Unkillable and Indestructible hid in the distance, but their eyes never left the situation in front of them. This group of idiots, they didn't even think about why we had to run. Pei Li is an unkillable monster, especially after losing control. Today is their bad luck. Huo Lai laughed. Not good. Suddenly, the little loli exclaimed, Pei Li's mother is still there. You bunch of idiots, all you care about is running away? Chief Long frowned. Hearing this, everyone looked at each other. At that time, they were so afraid that they had forgotten about Pei Li's mother. It's too dangerous. Hurry and bring Pei Li's mother here, the little loli hurriedly said. It's so dangerous, why don't you go? I'm a girl. You actually let a girl do such a dangerous thing. Are you still human? Besides, my body is very fragile. The little loli said. I'm not going. I almost died in Pei Li's hands last time. I want to go, but my strength doesn't allow me to. Don't say any more. Let's go together. Chief Long frowned. In the blink of an eye, everyone fell to the ground. The scene was so tragic that it made people shudder. The old man with the walking stick looked shocked as he stared at Pei Li in disbelief. How could he grow to such an extent at such a young age? Apart from having unparalleled combat strength, he was also completely immune to mental attacks. This kind of self-healing ability, what's going on? The old man with the walking stick looked at Pei Li, panting. He subconsciously retreated backward and muttered, this can't be considered as self-healing anymore. Is this a regenerative ability? Pei Li, who was out of control, had no defense mechanism at all. But even if the old man could hurt him, Pei Li's regenerative abilities left the old man in despair. Kid, your future is limitless. You've won today, but you've also offended someone you shouldn't have. After saying that, the old man immediately fled without looking back. Pei Li, who was out of control, didn't chase after the old man. Instead, he strode slowly toward the unconscious Lin Yan. End of chapter. Chapter 1235. Oh no. Hurry up. The undying indestructible team members scurried toward Lin Yan. Pei Li didn't recognize anyone now. If he hurt or killed Lin Yan, coincidentally, Chief Long and Pei Li arrived beside Lin Yan at the same time. Coincidentally, Lin Yan woke up. Lin Yan opened her eyes and stared blankly at Chief Long and the others, who had a ferocious expression on their faces. As Lin Yan woke up, Pei Li's breathing gradually stabilized, and his lifeless eyes regained a hint of clarity. Lin Yan panicked when she saw the bloodstains on the ground. She instinctively glanced at Chief Long and the others. Hadn't she been kidnapped? Why were all the people who had kidnapped her lying on the ground? Who were these people? The people who had kidnapped her were all high-level and powerful. There were also many of them. She should have only been unconscious for a few minutes, but in such a short period of time, these people had all collapsed, and all of them had extremely terrifying wounds. It seemed like the mantis was stalking the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Were these people trying to snatch her from the old man? She was really very popular. In short, no matter who these people were, they were definitely 1,000 times more dangerous than the old man's group. At this moment, Pei Li stood where he was, his cold gaze sweeping across the people lying on the ground. There was no need to think too deeply. He must have lost control just now. He couldn't let his mother know that he was the one who had done it. In Pei Li's memory, his mother didn't like him. Pei Li's gaze carried a terrifying pressure as he mouthed to Huolai, Chief Long and the others in front of him, "Don't scare my mother." Pei Li reached out and tugged at the corner of Lin Yan's shirt timidly. "Sister, save me." Lin Yan finally realized that there was a little boy beside her. The little boy's face and body were stained with blood. His pitch-black eyes were as clear as a summer stream, but they were filled with fear, uneasiness, and a deep sense of dependence. Lin Yan's head buzzed when she saw the little boy. At this moment, in this hellish place, this soft and adorable little boy was as fragile as an angel. She did not know if it was just her imagination, but this child gave her a very warm feeling. Instinctively, Lin Yan pulled the child into her arms and shielded him behind her. "Little kid, come over here." Without a second thought, Lin Yan instinctively assumed that this child was one of their targets. Pei Li hadn't expected that Lin Yan would suddenly pull him into her arms. His body stiffened and even trembled slightly. His mother's embrace was soft, and her warm aura enveloped him. There was also a nice fragrance on her body. After a few seconds, Pei Li extended his arms and wrapped them around Lin Yan's neck. He buried his head in her shoulder and scanned Chief Long and the rest. "Sister, I'm scared, don't be afraid. Just don't look at it." Lin Yan wrapped the little fellow in her clothes and covered his eyes so that he wouldn't see the blood on the ground. Chief Long, Xiaomeng. Hualai was speechless. The undying indestructible members watched helplessly as their ferocious leader transformed into an adorable little angel. All of them looked as though they had been struck by lightning. Boss. You told us not to scare your mother, so you're scaring us? End of this chapter. Chapter 1236. It was getting late. Lin Yan tensed up at the sight of the blood on the ground and the dangerous people in front of her. She hugged the child even tighter. Lin Yan scanned the people on the ground. These people. You did it. Hualai, Xiaomeng, and Chief Long were speechless. Pei Li peeked his head out and said in a childish voice, Sister, it was all done by these bad guys. The members of Undying and Indestructible were once again strangely silent for a few seconds. In the end, Hualai braced himself and said, That's right. We did it. Are you afraid? What has this got to do with us? We didn't even touch a finger. We're afraid too. Lin Yan became even more vigilant. These people were too terrifying. Who are you? What do you want? Asked Lin Yan. The light was too dim, so Lin Yan couldn't see their faces clearly. She could vaguely see a short figure floating in midair. It was terrifying. The few of them looked at each other in dismay, not knowing how to respond. In a moment of desperation, Hualai blurted out, We want your life. Xiaomeng smacked Hualai's head and warned him in a low voice, How dare you take boss's mother's life? I think you're tired of living. Chief Long glanced at Hualai in displeasure. How were they supposed to respond? Were they really going to take her life? What should I say then? Isn't that what happens in dramas? Hualai clutched his head and mumbled. Ahem. If you don't want to die, hand over the money. We only want money. We don't want your lives. Hualai corrected himself. Huh. Then you should just take your lives. Lin Yan muttered softly. What? Hualai was dumbfounded. Why wasn't he following the script? Lin Yan coughed softly and hurriedly said, Ahem. I just said, even if you're doing this for money, you shouldn't have robbed me. I'm just a small celebrity. How much money can I have? You're so powerful, yet you're here to rob me? So many powerful evolved beings had been defeated by this group of people, which showed how terrifying they were. He was afraid that she had met those vicious evolvers. She wasn't sure about the little boy in her arms. He might have been targeted because his family was rich, but she really didn't have any money. Could it be that they mistook him for someone else again? If you don't have money, then don't even think about running away today. Hualai was gradually feeling like he was a bandit, and he spoke in an evil voice. These people were dangerous, so Lin Yan naturally couldn't go with them. She had no choice but to fight to the death. Don't struggle pointlessly. Even if the God of Heaven comes today, he won't be able to save you. Ha ha ha. Hualai laughed loudly like a villain. Xiaomeng looked at his exaggerated performance and could not help but roll her eyes. The instant Hualai's voice fell, an extremely powerful pressure suddenly came crashing down like a storm. That powerful aura seemed to be able to crush one's internal organs. Hualai's knees instantly softened and he almost knelt down. So scary. Xiaomeng also quickly went into battle mode. For a moment it was difficult for her to even speak. What's going on? Is there such a powerful evolved being in the capital? Chief Long took a cautious step back and muttered softly, It's Pei Yucheng, F***CK. Pei Li's father? Are you kidding me? Is my mouth blessed? He's really the God of Heaven. Hualai looked horrified. Chapter 1237. What should we do now? Chief Long hesitated for a moment before he said decisively, Retreat. Yes. Retreat. Retreat. Run. Let the father and son fight among themselves. Don't let the innocent get hurt. With that, the group of people immediately retreated like the tide, and soon disappeared without a trace. Boss, it's not that we want to escape, but we really can't beat your father. At the same time, a black car stopped not far away from Lin Yan. Pei Yuqing quickly opened the door and got out, followed by Xing Chen, Ling Yu, and Xing Imo. Lin Yan relaxed the moment she saw Pei Yuqing. Mr. Pei Yuqing scanned the evolved beings on the ground coldly before he hurriedly checked on Lin Yan. How are you? Are you hurt anywhere? Although he could possess Lin Yan's body, he couldn't succeed every time. If he forced it, he would need to expend a lot of mental energy. He had called Lin Yan dozens of times, but he hadn't been able to get through. He knew that something must have happened. His mental energy was only enough to support him to find her. It's fine, it's fine. It's just a small scratch. It's fine. Lin Yan replied hastily. Xing Chen was shocked. Sister Yan, did you deal with all these people? Lin Yan waved her hand dismissively. How could that be? No matter how powerful I am, I can't beat so many people. I was tricked into the Hunters Guild's prison. It wasn't easy for me to escape, but I was captured by a group of evolved beings. I was knocked unconscious by them. When I woke up, I realized that they had been killed by another group of more powerful and dangerous people. Fortunately, you guys came in time and scared those strange people away. Lin Yan explained everything that had happened. She felt exhausted, as she felt that life had been too tough for her. Ling Yu seemed to have noticed something in Lin Yan's arms. She asked casually, Sister Yan, what's in your arms? Pei Yuqing and the others turned to Lin Yan as Ling Yu spoke. Pei Yuqing had been focused on checking if Lin Yan was injured, so he hadn't noticed anything else. Lin Yan removed her coat and replied, Oh, I forgot to tell you. It's a baby. I saved him from those people. Pei Li kept his arm around Lin Yan's neck as he turned his body slightly. His eyes, which were as dark as the night, scanned the group of them. Finally, she fixed her gaze on Pei Yuqing. Pei Yuqing's pupils constricted the moment he saw the boy's face. The pressure that had just been withdrawn erupted again, and it was 100 times stronger than before. Ling Yu, Xing Chen, and Xing Imo looked as if they had seen something extremely terrifying. Their expressions were filled with extreme fear. Pei Li. Why would Pei Li, who had disappeared for so long, appear here? Qing Mo's face turned pale, and he quickly hid behind Xing Chen. What's going on? Am I seeing things? Is that young Master Pei Li? Xing Chen's expression didn't look too good either. Although they hadn't seen each other for a long time, Pei Li's face was too recognizable. This child was Pei Li, there was no mistaking it. Lin Yan was frightened by the terrifying aura that had erupted from Pei Yuqing's body. Ling Yu and the others didn't look right either. What's wrong? Lin Yan was puzzled. End of chapter. Chapter 1238. Pei Yuqing's expression had turned ugly. Lin Yan, leave that child. Lin Yan rarely heard Pei Yuqing call her by her name, especially in such a cold tone. She was confused. Mr. Pei. What's wrong? Pei Yuqing inhaled deeply. We don't know this child's background. He's dangerous. Don't get too close to him. Huh? How could that be? He's just a child. Besides, he's so pitiful. He was frightened by those people. Lin Yan, who thought that Pei Yuqing had misunderstood something, hurriedly explained. Lin Yan, listen to me. Come here. Pei Yuqing's voice was tense. Lin Yan could tell that something was amiss, as though the child was really dangerous. Instinctively, she let go of the little fellow in her arms. Although Lin Yan didn't think that the child could be dangerous, she still believed Pei Yuqing. In the end, she put the child down and walked over to Pei Yuqing. The warm temperature was instantly replaced by the chilly night wind. Pei Li stood there alone, staring coldly at the man in front of him. His dark pupils were suffused with an imperceptible scarlet. "Mr. Pei, you must have misunderstood. This child isn't a bad person. He's also a victim. Those people wanted to kidnap him." Lin Yan tried to explain. Pei Yuqing grabbed Lin Yan's hand and pulled her into his embrace. The darkness in his eyes was frightening. He didn't refute Lin Yan. Instead, he said solemnly, "I will ask Cheng Imo to take care of this child." "Don't worry." Cheng Mo's body trembled when he heard this. What? He would ask him to take care of him? Ahem, that's right, Miss Lin. I'll send this child to the police station and follow up with him until he finds his home safely. Cheng Imo could only bite the bullet and say this. He didn't even dare to look up at Pei Li. Lin Yan stared at the lonely child and felt a little sorry for him. However, since Pei Yuqing had said so and Cheng Imo was in charge, she didn't have to worry about him. It would be better to let Pei Yuqing take care of this child. Oh, if that's the case, then, alright, let's go. Pei Yuqing seemed to heave a sigh of relief as his eyes met the child's. Lin Yan followed him for a while before she stopped and instinctively turned to look at the little boy. The child's clothes were thin, and his face and body were stained with blood. His little head was drooping, and he stood there with empty eyes. When he looked at her, there was a trace of sadness in his large eyes. She was like an abandoned puppy. Lin Yan felt as though her heart had been clawed by a sharp claw. She couldn't breathe. In a split second, she pushed him away and strode over to the child. She hugged him once more. Lin Yan held the child's cold hand and glanced at Pei Yuqing. "Mr. Pei, since I saved this child, I have to be responsible for him. Besides, he has been frightened and is easily frightened. He's afraid of strangers. I can't abandon him." "I'm worried." Pei Li hadn't expected that Lin Yan would return so suddenly. The redness in the little fellow's eyes, which were about to break free, vanished. He stared blankly at his tiny hand, which was wrapped in a warm palm. His big eyes were filled with shock. "Mom." Chapter 1239. Xing Chen and Cheng Imo exchanged a glance as they watched Lin Yan carry Pei Li in her arms. Both of them looked fearful. They looked as though Lin Yan was carrying a ticking time bomb in her arms. Ling Yu glanced at Xing Chen and whispered, "If I'm not wrong, that's Pei Li?" Xing Chen nodded. "I think so." Although he did look like young Master Pei Li, this was the first time he had seen Pei Li act like an ordinary child. He hadn't even flown into a rage when Brother Yu had said those words. He even looked pitiful. There must be something wrong with his eyes. Ling Yu pondered this for a moment. "I saw the people who escaped from afar. They should be immortals. How could immortals kidnap Pei Li?" Xing Chen scratched his head. "I don't understand either." According to the latest news from the headquarters, Pei Li had established the Undying Indestructible after his disappearance. He was the leader of this organization. Ling Yu pondered this for a moment before she scanned the evolved beings on the ground. "I'm guessing that Sister Yen was captured by these evolved beings. Pei Li brought the Undying Indestructible entity to save her. Sister Yen was unconscious at the time, so she didn't know. Given Pei Li's character, he definitely wouldn't want Sister Yen to know his ferocious side. Hence, he pretended to be a victim." Xing Chen nodded repeatedly. "That makes sense. Why didn't I think of that?" Ling Yu replied, "Isn't it normal that you didn't think of it?" Xing Chen was speechless. Cheng Imo wiped his sweat as he watched the two of them bicker helplessly. "Let's think about what to do now." As soon as the three of them finished speaking, they received a warning look from their boss. Xing Chen hurriedly said, "Sister Yen, leave it to Assistant Cheng. What's there to worry about? Assistant Cheng will take good care of this child." Cheng Imo glared at Xing Chen. "Miss Lin, Xing Chen will accompany me." Lin Yan frowned when she heard Xing Chen and silent disaster. Why are you guys acting a little weird today? Why do you look so nervous? Huh? Really? No. Xing Chen and Xing Yimo felt guilty. Ling Yu sighed heavily and muttered softly, I don't think you should try to persuade him. I think it's useless. Little young master doesn't have to do anything. Sister Yen can't bear to part with him just by looking at him. Pei Yuqing watched the mother and son quietly. There was a moment of silence. After some time, Pei Yuqing seemed to have compromised as he walked toward the mother and son. Mr. Pei, can I send this child back personally? Lin Yan was worried that he wouldn't agree. Pei Yuqing walked over and squatted down in front of them. Okay. Lin Yan was elated. You agree? Pei Li glanced at Pei Yuqing with a puzzled expression. Pei Yuqing glanced at Lin Yan and said, I can promise you, but you're injured. Let me carry the baby. Pei Yuqing reached out to Pei Li. The moment Pei Yuqing finished speaking, Pei Li's expression seemed to crack. Lin Yan didn't think much of it as she replied happily, Oh. Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Pei. Pei Li didn't even have time to react before he was carried away by Pei Yuqing. It was completely different from Lin Yan's embrace. The man's embrace wasn't as soft or warm. His movements were stiff and unnatural. The sweet scent was replaced by a cold aura. Ha ha ha. Why did this scene between the father and son look so funny? End of this chapter. Chapter 1240. Pei Li wanted to struggle, but he didn't move when he saw the bruises on Lin Yan's body. Xing Chen and Xing Yimo hadn't expected Pei Yuqing to react this way either. They stood rooted to the ground in a daze. They could understand that Pei Yuqing didn't want Pei Li to get close to Lin Yan, which was why he had hugged Pei Li. However, this scene was still horrifying. The father and son were like fire and water. Pei Li had always wanted Pei Yuqing's life, so they weren't used to this sudden closeness. Ling Yu had been locked up for a long time, so she wasn't sure what had happened. However, she knew that the relationship between the father and son was strained. Anyone who didn't know what was going on might find this heartwarming. Lin Yan blinked as she glanced at Pei Yuqing and the little boy in his arms. She couldn't help but chuckle. Mr. Pei, why do I feel that this child looks a lot like you? Especially that cold and noble feeling between his brows. It was as if they were carved from the same mold. Ahem. Xing Chen coughed violently when he heard that. He was Brother Yu's biological son. How could he not look like him? Sister Yan, if you look in the mirror, you will realize that this child looks like you too. Pei Li seemed unhappy when he heard his mother. He pursed his lips and wanted to retort, but he didn't say anything in the end. Let's get in the car. Pei Yuqing held Lin Yan's hand. Oh, coming. Lin Yan hurried after him. Xing Chen, Xing Yimo, and Ling Yu followed behind. Xing Yimo glanced at the family of three and rubbed his nose. I didn't expect to see this scene in my lifetime. It's quite heartwarming. Xing Chen chewed on the lollipop in his mouth and sneered coldly. Heartwarming? Brother Yu and Little Devil wouldn't dare to be presumptuous in front of Sister Yen. They are just good actors. Besides, aren't you forgetting something? Forgotten what? Xing Yimo was puzzled. Xing Chen replied, your other little brat. Xing Mo's face darkened as he perspired profusely. Don't jinx it. One is bad enough. Don't let the other know. Ling Yu wanted to investigate the surroundings, so she left first. Xing Yimo drove while Xing Chen sat in the front passenger seat. Lin Yan, Pei Li, and Pei Yuqing sat in the back seat. Xing Yimo and Xing Chen sat in front, not daring to make a sound. They were afraid that the father and son would start fighting. Pei Yuqing was on Pei Li's left, while Lin Yan was on his right. Even though he was trying his best to sit on Lin Yan's side, there was limited space in the back seat. Once the three of them sat down, they would inevitably touch Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan didn't sense anything amiss. She was just worried that the child might still be frightened. After he got used to it, Lin Yan probed, Kid, do you know where you live? Pei Li shook his head. Lin Yan asked, do you have daddy and mommy's number? Pei Li continued to shake his head. Lin Yan's head throbbed. You don't know anything? What should I do? Lin Yan couldn't get anything out of him. It seemed like she had no choice but to send him to the police station. Don't worry, we will help you find your parents and send you home. Xing Chen and Cheng Imo remained silent as they listened to the conversation between the mother and son. Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she asked, Kid, what's your name? Chapter 1241. Hearing this question, Pei Li did not speak for a long time. Lin Yan was puzzled. Was this question that hard to answer? This child couldn't possibly not know his name, right? Sister, my name is Xiaoli. Pei Li finally replied. Lin Yan pondered for a moment. Xiaoli? Sister, it's a polite greeting, replied Pei Li. Lin Yan's eyes lit up. Oh, so it's Xiaoli. That's a nice name and it suits you very well. Pei Li pursed his lips and nodded. Yeah, my mother gave it to me. Lin Yan grinned. Is it a polite name? Your mother is really good at naming things. It's really nice. Xing Chen and Cheng Imo, who had been listening to their conversation, exchanged glances. They were at a loss for words. Haha. I hope you can still say this after you know your son's full name. Pei Yucheng rubbed his forehead and remained silent. Xiaoli, what's your name? Lin Yan wanted to know more about this child so that she could help him find his parents. Xing Chen was speechless, Cheng Mo was speechless. Had this moment finally come, Pei Li instinctively glanced at Pei Yucheng, as though he really didn't want to answer this question. Ahem. President Pei, Miss Lin, we have arrived at the police station. Fortunately, they had arrived at the police station, so Cheng Imo interrupted him. Lin Yan hurriedly got out of the car with the child. Lin Yan lowered her head and told the child, Xiaoli, don't be afraid. You are safe now. You will be able to return to your parents' side soon. The corners of Xing Chen's mouth twitched. He was right next to his parents. Pei Li tugged at the corner of Lin Yan's shirt. Sister, what if I can't find my parents? Can I stay by your side? Lin Yan was taken aback when she heard him. This child had no information. Even if they sent him to the police station, they wouldn't be able to find his parents in a short time. How could that be? Think carefully. Can you remember where your home is? Or the special buildings around it? Lin Yan asked patiently. Pei Li lowered his eyes and fell silent. Pei Yucheng glanced at Cheng Imo. Cheng Imo was in a dilemma. He didn't dare offend the little devil, but he didn't dare offend Pei Yucheng either. Fortunately, it seemed like Pei Li didn't want to fall out with Lin Yan. So now he could only play along with them. Cheng Imo could only say, Miss Lin, this child's identity is currently unknown. It's indeed not suitable to keep him by your side. Furthermore, you're usually busy and don't have time to take care of him. Leave the rest to me. Just as Cheng Imo was about to continue speaking, a man's voice came from afar. Lin Yan glanced at the familiar voice in surprise. Boss? Why are you here? Xiao Yao, who was wearing a light gray suit, strode over with his long and slender legs. Pei Yucheng's eyes met the man's when he saw Xiao Yao suddenly appear. Two forces collided. When Xing Chen saw who it was, he immediately stood up straight. Third heaven, Cheng Imo frowned. Why is he here? While everyone was lost in their own thoughts, Pei Li, who was standing next to Lin Yan, glanced at Xiao Yao and greeted him. Uncle Xiao. Lin Yan was even more surprised. Xiaoli, do you know this uncle? End of this chapter. Chapter 1242. He's my nephew, replied Xiao Yao. No way. What a coincidence. Lin Yan was pleasantly surprised. That's great. I was just worried that I couldn't find this child's family. I didn't expect him to be your nephew. Lin Yan realized that something was amiss. Wait a minute, your nephew. That means he's your brother's son. Does this mean that this child's father is your brother, Xiao Ji? Qing Imo was speechless, Xing Chen was speechless. When had Pei Li's father become Xiao Ji? Xiao Yao fell silent for a few seconds before he replied, my nephew, the son of my best friend. I know his mother. Lin Yan patted her chest. She felt a lingering fear at the thought of Xiao Ji's terrifying way of talking. Oh, you scared me. So he's your friend's son. I was wondering how Xiao Ji could give birth to such an obedient and sensible child. Oh yeah, boss. A group of people tried to kidnap this child for money. Hurry up and send this child home. His parents must be worried sick. Lin Yan hurriedly urged. His mother lost her memory in a car accident. She has already forgotten about his existence and is with another man, Xiao Yao replied expressionlessly. What? That can't be. Lin Yan was shocked, but she didn't want to pry into his privacy. Thus, she asked, what about his father? Xiao Ji glanced at Pei Yucheng. I don't know. He doesn't have a father. Pei Yucheng was speechless. Lin Yan was puzzled. Why doesn't he have a father? Did his mother get pregnant before marriage? Xiao Ji replied, yeah. Lin Yan was speechless. She had really guessed it right. This child was too pitiful. His mother had been in a car accident and had forgotten about him. She didn't know where his father was either. No wonder he didn't know anything when she had asked him about his family. However, she had pursued him for so long. Lin Yan felt guilty when she heard this. Lin Yan said, then this child, Xiao Yao replied, help me take care of him for a while. Lin Yan was taken aback. Huh? Me? How would I know how to take care of a child? Besides, I'm very busy with work. I don't live alone, so I'm afraid. Xiao Yao replied, 100,000 yuan a month. Lin Yan immediately pulled Pei Li into her arms. Boss, this can all be overcome. The main thing is that I feel that since I've already saved him, it's better to take responsibility until the end. Xiao Yao, then it's settled. Pei Li, who was standing to the side, had a look of astonishment on his face. He didn't expect it to be so easy. Xing Chen and Qing Imo looked at each other. What was Xiao Yao up to? Why did she help Pei Li lie? Lin Yan suddenly realized that she had forgotten something. She hurriedly glanced at her boss with a bright smile on her face. Mr. Pei. Do you think that's all right? Pei Yucheng glanced at the girl and fished out a check. Are you short of money? I can give it to you. Lin Yan stared at the blank check and swallowed her saliva. She waved her hands frantically. No way. How can the check you gave me be the same? If you give it to me, we will be in the same basket. I want to earn other people's money now. Pei Yucheng fell silent for a moment before he agreed. That's true. Pei Yucheng was satisfied with the girl's answer. However, Pei Li had appeared out of nowhere. It was too dangerous for him to stay by Lin Yan's side. All these years, this child had become stronger and stronger, and it was getting harder to control him. His personality was also getting harder to fathom. If he lost control again like before. Chapter 1243. Mr. Pei, this child is so pitiful. I just want to take care of him for a few days. Besides, I think he is a good boy. He won't disturb you. Although money was part of the reason, Lin Yan really liked this child. Lin Yan sensed that Pei Yucheng didn't seem to agree, so she tugged at his sleeve and whispered, Can I? Hubby? Pei Yucheng was speechless. Lin Yan asked, Hubby? Pei Yucheng pondered for a moment before he made a decision. Sure. Pei Li already knew that Lin Yan was still alive. Even if he tried to reject her today, Pei Li would have another way. He might even do something more extreme if he was forced into a corner. Pei was speechless. Pei looked conflicted. He hadn't expected Lin Yan or Pei Yuqing to agree so easily. Please. I'll pay you half of the money in advance. I've already transferred it to your account, said Xiao Yao. Lin Yan had just spoken when she realized that she had received a transfer notification. Ah. That was fast. Boss, you're too kind. I have something to do. I have to leave now. Xiao Yao drove away. Lin Yan was speechless. He had left without looking worried at all. He hadn't even asked if the child was scared or willing. Had he been injured? Indeed, no one would love a child who had no parents. Lin Yan's heart ached as she watched the little boy. She was worried that he would be disappointed, so she comforted him. Xiaoli, your uncle has been busy recently. Can you stay with me for the time being? Pei raised his head, looking obedient and gentle. His eyes sparkled like stars. I want to stay with you, sister. Lin Yan was startled for a long time. Good boy. Ow. This child was so obedient and adorable. His clear, watery eyes were fixated on her. When he called her sister, her heart would melt. She would want to give him all the best things in the world. Lin Yan's heart was pounding. She had no idea how much pressure Xing Chen and Xing Imo were feeling when they saw this. They might as well watch Pei Li's brutal face. This little angel was too terrifying. They had witnessed such a terrifying scene. Would they be silenced later? Let's go home first, said Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan nodded. Soon, the car arrived at Cloud Manor. There was still a long way to go after they got out of the car. Pei Yuqing stood in front of the little girl and asked, Do you want a hug? Pei Li took half a step back when he heard her. It was obvious that he was rejecting her. Lin Yan wasn't sure if she was hallucinating, but Pei Li's gaze seemed to be filled with disdain. Cough, Xiaoli is probably not used to being too close to strangers. Let's just walk over. It's not that far. Lin Yan tried to smooth things over. After entering the house, Pei Li quietly looked around. There was a pair of slippers, a pillow, a pair of cups, and a racing car model. Lin Yan's personal belongings were scattered around the room. It was obvious that she had stayed there for quite some time. It seemed that Uncle Dog was telling the truth. Xiaoli, it's too late now. Big sister will take you to the supermarket tomorrow and buy some daily necessities for you. Lin Yan led the little fellow to the couch. Pei Yuqing removed his coat and hung it on the hanger. As he unbuttoned his shirt, he asked, Are you hungry? I'll go to the kitchen and make you something to eat. Chapter 1244. Lin Yan was about to sit down on the couch when she heard him. She sprang up as though her butt was on fire. Ah. No, no, no. Don't move. Let me do it. I'll do it. Boss, don't tell me you have something against Pei Li. You don't have to. She's just a kid. Pei Yuqing replied, I've been working on a new menu. Lin Yan replied, There's no need for that. Let me do it. Just sit down and wait for the food. Lin Yan lowered her voice and whispered, Have you forgotten the two things you promised me? First, she wasn't allowed to touch him. Second, she wasn't allowed to cook. Pei Yuqing was speechless. Lin Yan was about to head to the kitchen when Pei Li glanced at Pei Yuqing coldly. Sister, there's smoke in the kitchen. It's not good for girls. Men should be the ones to cook. Lin Yan was touched by the little rascal's words. Xiaoli, who taught you all this? You're such a sweet little angel. However, sigh, child. You haven't experienced the suffering of the world. You don't know how dangerous it is. Well, Xiaoli, I really like to cook. If I don't cook for a day, I'll feel uncomfortable all over. So, let me do it, hee hee. Pei Li didn't believe Lin Yan. He thought that she had been bewitched. Pei Li was speechless. Pei Yuqing was speechless. After Lin Yan went to the kitchen, only Pei Li and Pei Yuqing were left in the living room. One of them was aloof and dignified, while the other was cold and aloof. Pei Li realized that Pei Yuqing had no intention of explaining himself. After some time, Pei Li broke the silence. Pei Li said, although Mom is still alive and you didn't kill her, she had already decided to leave you. What tricks did you use to deceive her? The little girl glared at Pei Yuqing coldly, waiting for his answer. Pei Yuqing picked up the glass of lemonade and took a sip. Your mother courted me. Pei Li's eyes widened. That's impossible. Pei Yuqing replied, you can ask her. Pei Li pursed his lips. He obviously didn't believe a word of his father's. There were some fresh ingredients in the fridge, so Lin Yan cooked 3 bowls of noodles. Although she wasn't good at cooking, it was better than eating Pei Yuqing's food. Xiaoli, do you eat onions and garlic? Pei Li obediently sat on the chair in front of the dining table and nodded. Sister, I'm not picky. Good boy. Lin Yan added some spices to the little fellow's noodles. Hurry up and eat. The little fellow carefully took a bite, cherishing it as if he was eating a delicacy. Big sister's cooking is delicious. Lin Yan cupped her face in delight. Really? Then eat more. Lin Yan watched the little fellow eat happily. After some time, she realized that he hadn't moved. Mr. Pei, you should eat too. He couldn't taste it, so Lin Yan didn't have to ask him if it tasted good. Actually, if he thought about it that way, it wasn't too bad. No matter what she cooked, he could eat it. Pei Li quietly finished the entire bowl of noodles and even drank the last mouthful of soup. When he was done, the little fellow glanced at Lin Yan and asked, Sister, how did you meet Uncle? Lin Yan scratched her head. This kid had called her sister and Uncle Pei. Wasn't there a difference in seniority? Chapter 1245. Well, it's a long story. Her time with Pei Yuqing had been like a dream. She really didn't know how to explain it to a child. Pei Li glanced at Pei Yuqing and asked Lin Yan, Sister, was Uncle the one who courted you? Or was he you? Who had courted who? Lin Yan had to think hard to answer this question. At the time, Lin Yan had thought that the pervert who had possessed her was Pei Yuqing's confidant. That confidant had provoked Lin Yan and claimed that she had wooed Pei Yuqing and had nothing to do with Lin Yan. Hence, Lin Yan had broken up with Pei Yuqing in a fit of rage. Then, she had spent another 10 seconds wooing Pei Yuqing. It had also been then that she had realized that Pei Yuqing hadn't been a pervert or a confidant. The one who had possessed her had been Pei Yuqing himself. Pei Yuqing had wooed Lin Yan? Pei Yuqing hadn't wooed her. He had wooed himself. Should she say that Lin Yan had wooed Pei Yuqing? She had really wooed him, although it had only taken 10 seconds. Lin Yan hesitated for a long time before she glanced at Pei Yuqing speechlessly. In the end, she said, how should I put this? I did wooed your uncle. 10 seconds was considered as courting. Pei Li, who hadn't expected this answer, looked incredulous. Oh yeah, where will Xiaoli sleep tonight? Lin Yan suddenly thought of this question. Pei Yuqing replied, I've already asked someone to clean up the room on the 3rd floor. Huh? The 3rd floor? Lin Yan frowned. That's too high. He's so young. Won't he be afraid of sleeping on the 3rd floor? Pei Yuqing replied, the guest room on the 2nd floor is fine too. Pei Li pursed his lips. Sister, I'm fine. I can sleep anywhere. Lin Yan was a little worried when she saw how sensible Pei Li was. She really couldn't trust this child. He was so young, yet his parents weren't by his side. There wasn't even anyone to comfort him. He had suffered such a huge shock. How scary would it be to sleep alone at night? In the end, Lin Yan said, this child has suffered a huge fright. I'm worried about him sleeping alone. Why don't we let him sleep with me tonight? Pei Li raised his little head, his little face a little surprised, as well as a hint of joy in disbelief. However, the light in Pei Li's eyes was extinguished before it could start. His eyes turned cold as he studied his father quietly. He knew very well that his father would never allow him to be so close to his mother. As expected, Pei Yuqing pinched his temples. No. Lin Yan frowned. Why? Pei Yuqing didn't know how to reply. Lin Yan and Pei Li had just met, but things had already deviated from his expectations. He had underestimated Lin Yan's feelings for Pei Li. Even though she had lost her memory, subconsciously, she still felt close to this child. If he continued to stop her, would the outcome be as tragic as before? Would their relationship reach an irreconcilable point? That was something he absolutely did not want to see. After a long silence, Pei Yuqing's expression returned to normal. He looked up at the girl in front of him and said, "Your worries are reasonable. Am I right?" Lin Yan's face lit up with delight. Pei Yuqing added, "Ling Yu has already investigated the people who wanted to harm you this time. They didn't succeed this time, but there will definitely be a next time." Lin Yan, who knew that Pei Yuqing was right, sighed and said, "I don't know who I have provoked. They keep coming wave after wave, but I think some of them have mistaken me for someone else." Pei Yuqing replied, "No matter what, you could be in danger at any time." Pei Yuqing paused for a moment before he added unhurriedly, "So, I'll sleep with you tonight." Lin Yan was speechless. Pei Li was speechless. Chapter 1246. Lin Yan had never coaxed a child before, so she had no idea what to do. Therefore, she sent a text message to Xiao Ji to ask, "Boss, how do I coax the child to sleep?" Xiao Ji replied, "Why do I need to be coaxed to sleep?" Lin Yan was speechless. Did this guy not have a childhood? Whoever became his son in the future would be in deep trouble. She had no choice but to think of a solution herself. "Xiaoli, do you want to listen to a story?" asked Lin Yan gently. Pei Li's expression seemed to be a little hesitant. After a while, he carefully asked, "Can I?" Pei Li looked as though he wanted to listen but didn't dare to trouble her. Lin Yan's heart ached even more. Of course. However, as soon as he said that, he realized that something was wrong. But I don't think I know how to tell stories. Lin Yan scratched her head. Lin Yan instinctively glanced at Pei Yuqing, who was standing at the door. Pei Yuqing was speechless. "Mr. Pei, do you know how to tell stories?" Lin Yan asked hopelessly. Pei Yuqing walked over with 2 cups of warm milk. "Drink the milk first." Pei Li glanced at him but didn't take it. When Pei Li didn't move, she picked up his glass. "Xiaoli, have some milk. You can grow taller." Only then did Pei Li drink it obediently. After drinking the milk, he leaned against the headboard and asked, "What do you want to hear?" Lin Yan blurted out a few names that she had heard of. "The little girl who sells matches. Daughter of the sea. They all seem to be tragedies. Is there any happy ending?" "Okay." Pei Yuqing nodded and began to speak. Once upon a time, there was a cute little girl. Because she always wore the beautiful Little Red Riding Hood that her grandmother gave her, everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her grandmother was sick, and her mother brought Little Red Riding Hood to visit her. Lin Yan's eyes sparkled. She hadn't expected that he would really tell a fairy tale about Little Red Riding Hood and the big bad wolf. "This is too cute." Pei Yuqing was startled. "What's wrong?" Lin Yan replied, "Nothing. I just didn't expect you to know how to tell a fairy tale." Pei Yuqing replied, "I've heard about it. I'll remember it." "Heard of it? What kind of person would tell him a fairy tale? Could it be that brat, Pei Yutang?" Lin Yan had been running for her life for the past few days. No matter how strong her body was, she was exhausted. Lin Yan lay on the soft bed with his soothing voice ringing in her ears. There was a soft and fragrant pillow in her arms, and she fell into a deep sleep. After a while, Pei Li also slowly closed his eyes. After the wolf woke up, it wanted to escape, but the rocks were too heavy. Just as it stood up, Pei Yucheng lowered his voice until both of them had closed their eyes and fallen asleep. The girl's face was porcelain white and flawless. Because she was sleeping soundly, her face was flushed red. Her brows were filled with sweetness, as if she had no worries at all. Pei Yucheng removed his gold-rimmed glasses and placed them on the bed. Then, he tucked them in. Pei Yucheng's gaze landed on the little fellow in Lin Yan's arms. The little fellow had always been vigilant and vigilant. Whenever he looked at him, his eyes were cold and distant. Now that he was curled up in Lin Yan's arms, he finally looked like a child. If he hadn't been born with such a terrifying ability, the story of the Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood has appeared in at least 3 books, from Suyu to Just Like Me to the rest of my life. End of this chapter. Chapter 1247. On the way out, Xing Chen and Cheng Imo leaned against the car, looking as though they were about to collapse. It took them some time to recover. The more Xing Chen thought about it, the more puzzled he felt. Although some of the higher-ups know about Sister Yan's existence, Brother Yu has sealed the news. At most, they would think that Brother Yu has a girlfriend or a substitute. Who leaked the news about Sister Yan? Does the devil already know that Sister Yan is his mother? Judging from young master's attitude, it seems like he already knows. Of course, young master's thoughts are hard to guess, so he could be testing us. Cheng Imo gripped the steering wheel and smiled bitterly. However, these questions aren't important anymore. What's important is that young master has come knocking on our door. This is really a headache. There were a few times when I thought that the little devil was going to go berserk. I was so scared that I ate 3 times more lollipops than usual today. Xing Chen said with lingering fear as he tore open the wrapper. Actually, I think that President Yu is scarier than young master. Cheng Imo said with a hint of sadness in his voice. Xing Chen nodded in agreement. In the past, Brother Yu would have flown into a rage if he had encountered such a situation. Sister Yan has been uncontactable for so long, and the little devil dares to get close to her, Cheng Imo sighed. President Yu has indeed toned down his temper in the past 2 years. Xing Chen exclaimed, it's not just toned down. He has been reborn. Tonight, under the pressure of the father and son who could lose control at any time, Xing Chen and Cheng Imo seemed to have struggled back from the brink of death. Cheng Imo sighed heavily. You guys don't have to be around all the time for missions, but I have to be by President Yu's side every day. Xing Chen bit the lollipop in his mouth as his face darkened. That B***starred Qin Huan got off lightly. He hid in peace. Cheng Imo, who already knew that Qin Huan was a mole, comforted him. Although Qin Huan was a mole, he didn't intend to hurt you. He even pleaded with the man in black for you and Ling Yu. I believe that he had his reasons, Xing Chen snorted coldly, as though he didn't want to continue this topic. A traitor is a traitor. Let's not talk about him. Xing Chen patted Cheng Mo's shoulder. Oh yeah, Brother Cheng. I have a suggestion for you. Cheng Imo, what suggestion? Xing Chen replied, if you want to live well, you have to cling to Sister Yan. Cheng Imo, the next morning. Lin Yan had just woken up when she received Cheng Mo's text. Cheng Imo, good morning, madam. I have prepared some daily necessities for the child. They are already in the living room. If you need anything else, please let me know. Lin Yan read Cheng Mo's message and her eyes landed on the word madam. In the past, Cheng Imo had always called her Miss Lin. Why was he calling her madam all of a sudden? And his tone was so solicitous, at that time. Pei Yucheng and Pei Li were already awake in the living room. Pei Yucheng was sitting on the couch, working on his work. Cheng Imo was holding a pile of documents as he waited nervously by the side. Initially, Pei Yucheng had wanted to head to the office. However, little young master was here, so he couldn't leave them alone at home. Lin Yan had set a strict schedule for Pei Yucheng's working hours, so Cheng Mo had no choice but to deliver the documents to Pei Yucheng as soon as possible. He really didn't want to face both father and son at the same time. End of chapter. Chapter 1248. Pei Li glanced at Pei Yucheng, who was sitting on the couch. Aren't you going to make breakfast? Pei Yucheng didn't even lift his head. No. Pei Li replied coldly, it seems like my mother is good at everything except for her poor taste in partners. What's the difference between you and those useless men? Pei Yucheng raised his head. I have good taste in partners. Pei Li was speechless, Ching Mo was speechless. Ching Mo wiped the sweat off his forehead and looked at the little devil. He braced himself and tried to smooth things over. The kitchen has already prepared breakfast, young master. Before he could finish his sentence, Pei Li glared at him coldly. Ching Mo swallowed the words young master hurriedly. If you want to eat anything, you can tell me. Sigh. Why was there such a tense atmosphere so early in the morning? Suddenly, there was a creaking sound. The sound of the door being pushed open sounded like music. His legs had finally woken up. You guys are up so early. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yucheng and Pei Li. When Pei Li saw Lin Yan, his icy cold face melted into a ball of cotton candy. He raised his head and greeted her adorably. Sister, good morning. He was in a great mood to see such an adorable and angelic face in the morning. Lin Yan grinned. Good morning, Xiaoli. How did you sleep last night? Are you used to it? Pei Li replied, half of it. Lin Yan was speechless, half of it? Did kids have such a unique way of expressing themselves? I'll go prepare breakfast. Ching Mo heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Lin Yan. He seized the opportunity to get breakfast ready and left. Do you have work today? Pei Yucheng asked at the dining table. Lin Yan placed a poached egg on Pei Li's plate as she replied, the international competition is about to begin. We have to decide on the contestants as soon as possible. I have to go to the team in the morning. I have an appointment in the afternoon, but it's a simple one. It should be over soon. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Li with a headache. What about Xiaoli? You can't leave him alone at home. Pei Yucheng replied, I'm resting at home today. I can help you take care of him. Pei Li turned to look at Pei Yucheng in disbelief. He couldn't believe that his father would be so shameless. Lin Yan, on the other hand, was touched beyond words. Pei Yucheng wanted to help her take care of her child. The president of JM Corporation. He was personally helping her take care of the child. Boss Xiaoyao, your 100,000 yuan is really worth it, okay? He had struck it rich. Pei Li gazed up at Lin Yan. Sister, I want to be with you. Lin Yan glanced at the little fellow with a troubled expression. I'm sorry, baby. I have work to do today, so I can't leave. Can you let this brother accompany you? If she was in another profession, she might be able to bring a gift along. However, she was an artist, so it would be inconvenient for her to bring a gift along. She might even hurt Xiaoli, so she could only keep Xiaoli at home. With Pei Yucheng taking care of her, she would naturally be at ease. Pei Li had always been self-conscious and sensitive in front of Lin Yan. He would never make any requests. The request he made just now was already the most he could do. Hence, he fell silent after hearing Lin Yan's words. In the end, Pei Li nodded. He was already in such a terrible state. Only by being obedient would his mother not hate him. Small theater, Lin Yan, boss, President Pei, and I will help you take care of your child. You're making a killing. Xiaoyao, the two of you have your own child, yet I have to spend 100,000 yuan to take care of him. Do you think I'm making a killing? End of this chapter. Chapter 1249. Lin Yan's heart ached when she saw the little fellow's dejected expression. She reached out and caressed the little fellow's head gently. Xiaoli, be good. I'll be right back after work. Okay? Pei Li felt the warm and soft palm on top of his head that he hadn't felt for a long time, and his eyes were a little sore. He couldn't remember how long it had been. It had been a long time since his mother had touched his head so gently. No matter how many things he had, no matter how powerful his abilities were, all he wanted was his mother's closeness. When Lin Yan put her hand down, the little guy was still in a daze. He seemed to miss the warmth and reached out to touch himself. The corners of his mouth curled up a little. Pei Li's complexion was much better, and he tried his best to smile. "Okay, sister, go back to work. I'll be good." Lin Yan was so adorable that she didn't want to work anymore. This kid was too obedient and sensible. "Okay, then I'll go out first. Since you're up so early, you can go and sleep for a while. Children are still growing and need to sleep more. And I will be obedient." Pei Yuqing walked Lin Yan to the door and handed her the keys. "I got someone to find your car for you." "Ah. That was great. I saved a lot of money. Otherwise, I would have to buy a new one." Lin Yan looked delighted as she gazed at her old car. It was good to have a car that was a little worn out. Scratches and scratches could not be seen. Instead, it gave off a retro feeling. He didn't even need to repaint it. Pei Yuqing replied, "Drive slowly." Lin Yan nodded. "Got it. Mr. Pei, I'm counting on you for Shaoli. This child is so well-behaved and sensible. I don't know how his parents could bear to abandon such a good son. If you don't want it, just give it to me. I'll take care of it." Lin Yan muttered angrily. Pei Yuqing was speechless. "Then I'll be leaving first." "Oh yeah, I will give you half of the money." Lin Yan replied generously. Pei Yuqing chuckled softly. "You don't have to share with me." "Ah. How could I do that? You're also helping me take care of Shaoli." "Of course I have to share it with you." Lin Yan replied hastily. Pei Yuqing bent over and held the girl's waist as he kissed her deeply. "All right. I've already given it to you." Lin Yan was speechless. Oh my. 50,000 for a kiss? Wasn't this kiss a little too expensive? Lin Yan scratched her head. Then, she tiptoed and kissed him again. The man raised his eyebrows at Lin Yan's initiative. Lin Yan coughed softly. "I'll give you another one. Otherwise, I'll feel bad if I earn money too easily." Pei Yuqing was speechless, in the living room. After Lin Yan left, only the father and son remained in the living room. Pei Li's little face instantly changed from an innocent little boy to an expressionless machine. "If you want to use this method to monitor me, you don't have to. Do you think you can keep an eye on me?" Pei Yuqing didn't retort. He merely flipped through the book in his hand. Pei Li said coldly, "I know you want to chase me away, but you better give up on that thought." Pei Yuqing held Lin Yan's work schedule in his hand as he replied unhurriedly, "Your mother's work will end at 4 p.m. I'll take you to pick her up." Pei Li, hearing this, Pei Li's cold face froze. Pick mom up from work? Could he pick mom up together? Why would Pei Yuqing be so kind? The book review page 4, "I Have You for the Rest of My Life, Sweet and Warm Too," has begun. Babies, hurry up and participate. Chapter 1250. This man was probably keeping an eye on him. He was just a stranger to his mother, so he couldn't look for her. He could only go through Pei Yuqing. Regardless of Pei Yuqing's motive, the temptation of picking his mother up from work was too great. Pei Li couldn't resist. The father and son maintained a tacit understanding for the time being. When she reached the office, Lin Yan went to look for Xiao Yao. "Boss, Xiaoli is fine with me. My boyfriend is at home today, so he can help take care of him. Don't worry." Xiao Yao replied expressionlessly, "Okay." He naturally wasn't worried about their son. "Boss, if you have such a deal in the future, remember to look for me." Lin Yan didn't forget to drum up business. Xiao Yao raised his head and glanced at her. That's all. Lin Yan grinned. Boss, don't be so sure. Perhaps there is. Anyway, remember to look for me. I'll give you a discount. Half price for the second one. Alright, boss. I'm going to the team. Don't worry, I won't let you suffer a loss. Lin Yan didn't forget to express her loyalty to her boss. Xiao Yao said, I want to compete in the third level of the international competition. Ahem. What did you say? Lin Yan was so shocked that her heart almost stopped. Boss, you're the biggest shareholder of our team. How can you not live with your own money? Xiao Yao frowned and glanced at her. What do you mean? What else could he mean? Of course, it's because your driving skills are terrible. Lin Yan hurriedly explained, No, nothing. I don't mean that your driving skills are bad. What I mean is, boss, your driving skills are really too good. If you go on the track, what's the point of the others? You should give your employees a chance to perform. When I need you to step up, I'll definitely ask you to step up. Xiao Yao nodded. Okay. Tell me if you need money. Lin Yan's eyes lit up. Thank you, boss. You're so generous. Racing was a money-burning profession. Fortunately, she had Xiao Yao as an investor, so she didn't have to worry about funding. After chatting with Xiao Yao, Lin Yan went to the training ground. The team members were training intensely. Goddess, you're here. Mo Shuyun greeted her. He Letian, who was taking notes, rushed over to greet her. Sister, you're here. How's the team? Lin Yan glanced at the track. Sister, don't worry. Everything is going smoothly. With me here, there's nothing for you to worry about. He Letian patted his chest. It's precisely because you're here that I'm worried. Don't tell me you don't know. Fortunately, He Letian was self-aware. He knew that his skills were not good enough, so he took the initiative to do the logistics work. He was very familiar with the rules and requirements, so he did a good job. Lin Yan watched as the team trained. Boss Xiao has increased his investment again. Work hard. Wow. Boss Xiao was too generous. Sister, where did you find such a stupid and rich investor? Asked He Lefeng. Lin Yan glared at him. What are you talking about? What did it mean to be a fool with too much money? Boss Xiao's decision to invest in our Aurora team is a wise one. He Lefeng chuckled. Yes, it's fine as long as you're happy. End of chapter. Chapter 1251. Even if Sister Yan's racing skills were good, this was an international competition. Given Xiao Yao's wealth, he could invest in other teams that were more powerful. Even if he didn't invest in foreign teams, there was still the number one team, which had been established by the country's racing team. The two old teams had also announced that they would be representing the country in the international competition. Mo Shuyun said, "Oh yeah, goddess. Have you heard? I just received news that the Speed of Light team and the Thunderous Sound team will be participating in the competition. I heard that there hasn't been any news about these two teams in a long time, right?" asked Lin Yan. Yeah, I heard that these two teams have been secretly training for more than a year for this international competition. I reckon that they will be even stronger than before. Therefore, we won't just be facing foreign teams this time. We will also be facing strong domestic teams. Mo Shuyun said solemnly. He Lefeng mumbled, among the teams participating in the third level of the international competition, our team seems to be the weakest. At that moment, Chi Feng walked over from behind. As he took off his helmet, he said, "That can't be helped." Although the Racing Guild allowed Miss Lin to pick anyone she wanted, the strong racers had already been picked by the number one team. For example, the captain of D1 team, the chief captain of K1 team, and the other powerful racers are all in the number one team. Have we decided on the team for the third level? Asked Lin Yan. Although the racers in the country weren't within Lin Yan's consideration, if a few more racers could make it to the first level or even lose the second level, Aurora would be worth more. He Lefeng hurried over with a notebook. It's almost decided. Other than you, Sister Yan, Captain Mo, Brother Feng, Yun Xian, Zhou Yu, and Jing Shiran. Sister Yan, take a look. If there are no problems, we will announce the list today. Lin Yan nodded. With Mo Shuyun's approval, there wouldn't be any problems. Sure. Mo Shuyun clapped his hands and gathered everyone for a meeting. First of all, I have good news. Boss Xiao has increased his investment, so don't worry. Just do your best. Everyone cheered when they heard Mo Shuyun. Although they had been unhappy when they had been forced to come here, it seemed as though Lin Yan had a backer in the racing association. Aurora had qualified for the third level of the international competition. Most importantly, the team was well equipped and had money. After interacting with Mo Shuyun for a while, they recognized his management ability. During this period of time, they had been working hard to fight for the precious 6 spots to participate in the third level of the Global League. Now, I will announce the list of participants in the third level of the international tournament. Mo Shuyun took the name list from He Lefeng and announced his name. Qi Feng, Yun Xian, Zhou Yu, Jing Shiran, Xiao Haicheng, and Lin Yan. A total of 6 people. Those who were chosen were overjoyed, while those who weren't were disappointed. However, the list was based on the test results during this period of time. They weren't strong enough, so they couldn't do anything about it. After all, this was the third level of the Global League, where experts gathered. Even if they were qualified to participate, it would be a rare opportunity to experience it. Wait, I have a question. At this moment, Zhou Yu stood up. End of chapter. Chapter 1252. What's the problem? Speak. Mo Shuyun glanced at Zhou Yu. I don't have any objections to the other candidates, but Lin Yan. Zhou Yu glanced at Lin Yan suspiciously. Mo Shuyun replied, What's wrong with Lin Yan? Spit it out. Zhou Yu quipped, The 5 of us were selected through the tests, but Lin Yan has been missing for days. She didn't even take part in the tests. How could she qualify? Even if she's the boss of the team, as a team member, she has to speak with her ability. Many people present agreed with Zhou Yu's words, especially the few members who were just a hair's breadth away from being chosen. They were a little unconvinced. The international competition was a sacred place for all racers. They naturally couldn't accept such a precious opportunity being given to someone else. All of them were top racers in the country, while Lin Yan was just a newcomer who had competed a few times. Yeah, if they don't follow the rules, wouldn't the team be in chaos in the future? Qi Feng stepped forward as he listened to everyone's discussion. Hey, where did you put me? Some people fell silent after hearing Qi Feng's words. After all, Lin Yan had defeated Qi Feng during the competition, which meant that Lin Yan was faster than him. Logically speaking, if Qi Feng had been selected, Lin Yan should have been selected as well. Zhou Yu's face darkened. There are so many unexpected situations in the competition. The situation is ever-changing. Just because you won once doesn't mean that you can win every time. We've tested it countless times before coming to a decision. Qi Feng's face darkened. He was about to continue when Lin Yan pressed his shoulder. Zhou Yu, right? Lin Yan asked. What? Boss, are you not allowing us to speak the truth? Zhou Yu asked warily. Lin Yan grinned. Nothing much. As a member of the team, I have to explain something to everyone. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to participate in every training session because I have multiple jobs. This is indeed my personal problem. Lin Yan then added, Secondly, as the boss of the team, I have to say something. I have never set a rule or set a time limit for everyone to train or what kind of training methods we use. After all, racing is different from other professions. I don't need to look at these superficial things. No matter how you train, I only need results. That is speed. As long as you drive fast, everything is fine. Even if you don't come every day, it's okay. This is what I said when you first joined the team. Hearing this, the crowd fell silent. Lin Yan's words made sense, so they couldn't refute her. Even if that's the case, racing requires constant hard training. You're busy acting all day, and I don't see you train even once. Where would you find the time to focus on racing? Zhou Yu's expression was unfriendly. Lin Yan nodded. Zhou Yu, you're right. I hope that none of you will learn from me. Only those who are confident in their own abilities and have a clear understanding of their own abilities can do so. Zhou Yu burst into laughter when she heard Lin Yan. Lin Yan, aren't you exaggerating? Have enough confidence and a clear understanding of your own strength? Are you sure you have it? Miss Lin, why don't you let me learn a thing or two and have a race with me? Zhou Yu crossed her arms and sneered. Lin Yan nodded. Sure. End of chapter. Chapter 1253. He Lufeng noticed that Lin Yan was in a good mood today. Not only had she explained everything to him, but she had also agreed to compete with Zhou Yu. He was astonished. Sister, why are you so agreeable today? Normally, if she had this kind of time, she would have been busy making money. Lin Yan glanced at him. I'm the boss of a team. The most important thing for a team is unity. If I break it up, you have to compensate me. He Lufeng was speechless. All right, so she was still trying to make money. Everything was different now that she was the boss. Zhou Yu had always been indignant about this actress who had gotten in through the back door. He had thought that she had been lucky to win against Qi Feng. When Lin Yan agreed, he was elated. His friend smiled and patted him on the shoulder. Zhou Yu, she is the boss after all. You should restrain yourself later. Don't let boss lose too badly. Zhou Yu grinned. Sorry, I'm asking you to slow down. That's too much. Soon, the two cars stopped at the starting line. Lin Yan leaned out of the window and said, let's race. We'll see how fast you can run. Zhou Yu replied, sure, boss. I'll do whatever you want. Buzz, the pleasant sound of a car engine was heard. Then, the two cars sped away from the starting line. It's starting. Why don't we record it? Otherwise, boss might lose her temper and fire Zhou Yu. Yeah. Hurry up and record. The team members were laughing and joking as they recorded the race. Gradually, they stopped laughing as they watched the video. In less than 10 seconds, Lin Yan had pulled away from Zhou Yu. When they looked again, Lin Yan was the only one left on the screen. Zhou Yu had been left far behind. 5 minutes and 48 seconds later, Lin Yan reached the finish line. F***CK. That's fast. 5 minutes and 48 seconds? That's the fastest we've ever raced. You must be kidding. That's way too fast. That monster, Lian Yunxian, only managed 5 minutes and 36 seconds. That's more than 10 seconds slower. Yunxian, who had been silent all this while, squeezed out of the crowd and stood in front. Although Lin Yan hadn't visited him often, she had personally helped Yunxian tune his car. She would also watch his videos and accurately point out his mistakes and problems. His racing skills had never improved so quickly. He had even surpassed Qi Feng and Mo Shuyun. The level of this team could no longer satisfy him. He had thought that he had surpassed Lin Yan. However, he realized that he had been wrong. Oh, awesome. Amazing. Although they weren't happy with Lin Yan, they were thrilled to see her racing skills. It seems like Lin Yan is indeed capable. Otherwise, how could he have defeated Qi Feng in the ranking competition? At the end of the match, Zhou Yu lagged behind by more than 20 seconds. It might seem like a difference of a few dozen seconds, but in a competition, even a short second could make a world of difference. How many racers had raced their entire lives without being able to surpass that 1 second? Zhou Yu was still in a daze when she got out of the car. Impossible, Lin Yan glanced at Zhou Yu. Again? Zhou Yu raised her head and said without hesitation, okay. He refused to believe that this woman's luck would always be so good. End of the chapter. Chapter 1254. Soon, the second match began. Ah. Oh my god. Lin Yan has broken the record again. How long is it this time? She's 3 seconds faster. I heard that Team 1's fastest time is only 5 minutes and 43 seconds. Lin Yan is almost as fast as Team 1. When they reached the finish line, Lin Yan had no intention of getting out of the car. Instead, she glanced at Zhou Yu. Shall we continue? Lin Yan knew that many people in the team didn't like her, so she wanted to establish her dominance today. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to continue managing them. Zhou Yu was still in a daze when Lin Yan asked him if he wanted to continue. Instinctively, he nodded. Again. Then, the heart-wrenching third match began. Lin Yan continued to break the record. F***CK. Lin Yan's speed has surpassed Team 1. She exceeded it by half a second. How can this woman be faster and faster? Then, it was the 4th time, the 5th time, the 6th time. Lin Yan had competed with Zhou Yu 8 times today. She had won 8 times in a row, and she was getting faster and faster. Zhou Yu's eyes were dazzled by the defeat. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't win. Lin Yan was like a huge mountain in front of him, not giving him any chance. He had never felt such a strong sense of oppression in all his years of racing. This woman was too terrifying. Do you want to continue? Lin Yan glanced at Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu was drenched in sweat. When he snapped back to his senses, he shook his head hastily. No, there's no need. Lin Yan nodded readily. Okay, let's stop here. Lin Yan glanced at the other team members. If you want to compete with me, you can do so. I have other work to do later. There's still an hour left. The other team members glanced at each other and retreated at the same time. Lin Yan's fastest speed was faster than Team 1. How could they dare? Didn't they see that Zhou Yu was in a daze? He had no chance to retaliate at all. If Qi Feng had been lucky and coincidental, could the 8 consecutive races be attributed to luck? It was no wonder that she had been able to recruit Mo Shuyun and Qi Feng. She had even been able to get the racing team to participate in the 3rd level of the international competition. No one had expected Lin Yan to be so powerful. She was even more powerful than she had revealed earlier. Given Lin Yan's capabilities, she could even make it to the first team. He just didn't know how it would compare to those 2 super powerhouse teams. The 2 old monsters had been training in seclusion for a year. At present, all the training was still kept secret. No one knew what level they had reached. When everyone fell silent, Lin Yan said, "That's all for today." Lin Yan took every competition seriously. She had a clear understanding of every competition. There was no need for her to waste her time on the 3rd level of the Global League. If it was a competition that pressured her, she would also train without sleep or night. Of course, she understood that these team members did not know the inside story and would have doubts. Therefore, the 5 matches today were actually intentional. Are you sure you don't want to continue? Lin Yan glanced at Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu's body stiffened and her legs went soft. She was so scared that she almost blacked out. No. You really don't have to continue. Boss, are you thirsty? I'll get you a glass of water. End of chapter. Chapter 1255. The other team members hurriedly avoided Lin Yan's gaze, as though they were afraid of being called out by the teacher. Boss. We'll go too. Boss. No. Daddy. Daddy, do you want coffee? Daddy. I'll buy you milk tea. Daddy, do you want ice cream? The group of people quickly found their own excuses and disappeared without a trace. Hadn't they seen how badly Zhou Yu had been beaten? They didn't want to experience 8 consecutive defeats. Lin Yan was speechless. What was wrong with all of them? Wasn't it enough to have one Pei Yutong? Why did they suddenly have a bunch of sons? Goddess, you're too strong. Mo Shuyun rubbed his nose, looking surprised. I didn't expect you to hide some of your strength. He Lifeng's face was flushed with excitement. Sister Yan. You're amazing. Do you know that you've surpassed a team in terms of speed? I suddenly have confidence that we might really be able to compete with those 2 old monsters and represent the country in the 2nd level of the international competition. Qi Feng was the happiest. Lin Yan had finally made him famous in these 5 competitions. Otherwise, people would mock him and say that he couldn't even beat a woman. Mo Shuyun glanced at the fleeing team members. As the captain, he had no choice but to speak to Lin Yan politely. Goddess, can we talk this over? Lin Yan asked, what's wrong? In the future, when you deal with your own people, show mercy. Look, Zhou Yu has been traumatized by you. Let's restrain ourselves. Mo Shuyun said. Lin Yan rubbed her chin. Didn't I restrain myself? I've already restrained myself. I'm afraid that I'll hurt their confidence. Was this considered restraint? Was she bragging or serious? Mo Shuyun was speechless, Qi Feng was speechless, He Lifeng was speechless, Zhou Yu was speechless. The corners of He Lifeng's mouth twitched. He wanted to say something, but he didn't dare utter a word. Although he felt that Lin Yan was exaggerating, he had been traumatized by Lin Yan's performance. He had only been a bystander, but he had felt a suffocating pressure. He had never imagined that Sister Yan would be so scary when she was serious, therefore, he didn't dare to question it. Lin Yan had not only established her reputation, but she had also given the rest of the team a lot of motivation and hope. Originally, they had the mentality of going to the 3rd level of the internationals to take a look. But now, they might really be able to enter the 2nd level of the international league. Even if the quota was limited and many of the team members could not compete and could only serve as substitutes, as long as the Aurora Racing team entered the 2nd level, their qualifications and value would be greatly increased. Lin Yan got ready to leave after she was done with the team. Just as she was about to leave, someone cautiously chased after her. Sister Yan, Yunxian? Lin Yan glanced at him. The young man was wearing the team's custom-made racing uniform. His naturally light flaxen hair was a little long and slightly covered his eyes. His face, which was fairer and more delicate than a girl's, had a bashful expression. He looked like he could be bullied by anyone. It was hard to tell that he would have such a stunning performance on the field. Yun Xian was the member who improved the fastest. Although Lin Yan had high hopes for Yun Xian, she hadn't expected him to be so talented. She had really picked up a treasure. Yun Xian. What's the matter? Lin Yan beamed at the sight of the seated racer. Chapter 1256. Yun Xian. What's the matter? Lin Yan beamed at the sight of her team's seated racer. Yun Xian wasn't good at socializing, so he wasn't good at conversing with others. When Lin Yan smiled at him, his ears turned red and he didn't know where to place his hands. Lin Yan couldn't help but chuckle when she saw how nervous Yun Xian was. What's wrong? Why are you so nervous today? Am I that scary? Yun Xian shook his head hastily. No. Sister Yan, I didn't mean that, I'm just joking. Take your time. Lin Yan comforted him. The difference between this kid's usual state and his state on the track was like heaven and earth. In the end, Yun Xian struggled for a long time. His face was flushed as he said nervously, Sister Yen, you can you, Lin Yan asked, can I what? He Lufeng spied Yun Xian standing alone with Lin Yan. Yun Xian was so nervous that his face was flushed. He hid in a corner and peeked at them. Mo Shuyun, who was walking behind him, knocked his head. Why are you sneaking around? It's Yun Xian. He's such a boring person. He won't speak unless he sends a message. Other than his car, he doesn't come into contact with anyone. Yet, he took the initiative to talk to Sister Yen. He Lufeng quipped. Mo Shuyun replied, so what? I don't think that kid is in a good mood. Is he going to confess to my sister? He Lufeng slapped his thigh. Mo Shuyun was shocked by He Lufeng's train of thought. Aren't you overthinking things? I'm overthinking things. Look at it yourself. If it's not a confession, why is he so nervous? Why is he blushing? Although he stuttered, he had never been this nervous before. There must be something fishy going on. This kid is addicted to racing. Could he have been stunned by my sister's driving skills and fallen in love with her? He Lufeng swore. Mo Shuyun stroked his chin as he glanced at the two of them. Although He Lufeng was a little neurotic, Lin Yan and Yun Xian were standing next to each other, which made him feel like he was about to explode. Captain, aren't you going to control him? He Lufeng said anxiously, I thought this kid was a taciturn person. I didn't expect him to be so daring. He even dared to target my sister. Mo Shuyun rolled his eyes at him. It's one thing for me to interfere with her training, but how can I interfere with her dating? It's almost time for the competition. Dating will affect your training. No, Captain, you have to take care of this. This concerns the future of our team. He Lufeng rolled up his sleeves. If you're not going, I'll go. Stinking brat. How dare you have designs on my sister? Just as He Lufeng was about to rush out, he heard Yun Xian muster his courage. Sister Yen, can you accept me as your disciple? Yun Xian was so nervous that his forehead was covered in sweat, as if he had used all the strength in his body to say these words. Lin Yan was speechless, He Lufeng was speechless. Mo Shuyun, huh? He Lufeng and Mo Shuyun were taken aback. Lin Yan was taken aback as well. Yun Xian's courage vanished as soon as he finished speaking. He looked like a deflated balloon as he waved his hands frantically. I just said it casually. Sorry. I was too presumptuous. Lin Yan patted her chest with lingering fear. You gave me a fright. So you wanted to become my disciple. I thought. He Lufeng turned to Mo Shuyun and said, see? Sister Yen also thought that the kid was confessing to her. I didn't think too much. Lin Yan added, I thought you wanted to borrow money from me. He Lufeng was speechless, Mo Shuyun was speechless. I think both of you are overthinking things. Chapter 1257. The milk tea wrapper in Yun Xian's hand was almost torn to shreds. He hurriedly explained, No. The team is paying me enough. I have more. I'm not borrowing money. Lin Yan pondered for a moment. It had been a long time since she had accepted a disciple. Lang Mang, Butcher, and Sun Shuaren had been troublesome. They had caused her so much trouble that she had been mentally and physically exhausted. Lang Mang was too reckless, Butcher was too aggressive, and Sun Shuaren was always cheated by women. Only second brother was a little more mature, but only in front of her, his master. Usually, he especially liked to bully and provoke a few of his senior and junior brothers, causing them to complain to her every day, causing a lot of trouble. In short, after Lin Yan had accepted Sun Shuaren as her last disciple, she had sworn that she would never accept another disciple. Yun Xian, who seemed to sense Lin Yan's hesitation, forced a smile and said, Sister Yen, I'm sorry. I was just saying. Please. Don't take it to heart. Lin Yan glanced at the young man. Yun Xian was only 20 years old. He was so talented and had a bright future ahead of him. Many racers were hot-tempered, but Yun Xian was unusually quiet and gentle. He hadn't caused any trouble ever since he had joined the team. He had also trained very hard. To be honest, Lin Yan was tempted by such a good seedling. If he could meet a good master, his future achievements would be comparable to Lang Mang and the rest. However, it would be a pity if he went astray. Of course, the most important thing was that he was obedient. As for disciples, they had all graduated. She would just have to accept another obedient one. The next one would be even better and more obedient. Lin Yan contemplated for a long time before she glanced at Yun Xian, who was trying hard to hide his disappointment. She grinned and said, "Is this how you become a disciple? You didn't even prepare a cup of tea." Yun Xian looked as though he couldn't believe his ears. "Sister Yan. You mean," Lin Yan chuckled softly. "If you don't despise me and sincerely want to be my disciple, I will accept you as my disciple." Yun Xian replied excitedly, "How could I despise you? I'm serious." "Tea. I'll go get some tea." Yun Xian was flustered and he almost knocked his head against the wall. Lin Yan grabbed his collar helplessly to prevent his head from touching the wall. Then, she took the milk tea from Yun Xian's hands and took a sip with the straw. "Okay. From now on, you are my disciple. But, this is milk tea." Yun Xian was dumbfounded. Lin Yan quipped, "Tea will do." Yun Xian, who hadn't expected that Lin Yan would agree so easily, stared at the cup of milk tea in disbelief. His eyes reddened as he stammered, "Sister Yan." Lin Yan asked, "Huh?" Yun Xian hurriedly corrected himself, "Master." Thank you, Master, for accepting me. I won't let you down, and I won't let you regret the decision you've made today." It was rare for Yun Xian to speak without stuttering. The more Lin Yan looked at Yun Xian's obedient behavior, the more pleased she felt. Good boy, this should be the correct way for his disciple to open it. He Lufeng couldn't hold it in any longer. He rushed out from behind. F***ck. You stinking brat, you're too scheming. I thought you were going to confess to my sister. In the end, you're even worse. You want to be my disciple. Sister. Are you really going to accept this kid as your disciple? Chapter 1258. He Lufeng, who couldn't hold it in any longer, dashed out from behind. F***ck. You rascal. You're too scheming. I thought you were going to confess to my sister. In the end, you wanted to become her disciple. Sister. Are you really going to accept this lad as your disciple? If I don't accept him, should I accept you? Lin Yan raised an eyebrow. Wait a minute. Confess? What the hell? What kind of magical brain circuit is this? Shouldn't you be borrowing money from me? Mo Shuyun was speechless. Goddess, your brain circuit isn't any better. Why can't you accept me? There should be a first come, first served rule. Besides, I'm your brother. Why should I let him get ahead of me? He Lufeng looked like he was about to cry. Not to mention that you are my younger brother, even if you were my son, would not accept you. I still want to live for 2 more years. Lin Yan ignored He Lufeng's whining and turned to Mo Shuyun. Captain Mo, Yun Xian can give me 3 days this week. I want to give him special training. Mo Shuyun grinned. Okay. Goddess, how could I not give him to you? He can follow you around all day. Yun Xian nodded immediately. Okay. Lin Yan chuckled. He's just teasing you. Why would he need to follow me around all day? I'll let you know in advance. Lin Yan was in a good mood after taking in an obedient disciple. She took some time to log into her social media account, which she hadn't used in a long time. Then, she posted a status update on her WeChat moments. Yeva, the next one is better. The next one will be more obedient _. Lin Yan didn't have many people on her social media account. Most of them were her team members and her disciples. Her disciples were the first to explode when Lin Yan posted her status update. Lang Mang, oh my god. Oh my god. Master, you're finally here. Do you know that I've been waiting for you for so long? The international competition is about to begin. Master. It's been 2 years. Are you really not coming back? Master, the international competition will be held in the country this year. We'll be heading there soon. Master, are you still in the country? I want to see you. Death Butcher, I'm more concerned about the meaning of, the next one will be better and the next one will be more obedient. Sun Schwaran, why do I have a bad feeling about this? Master, don't tell me, you have a dog outside. A new disciple? Lang Mang, F***ck, no way. Master, it's impossible. Second brother, you jinxed it. Don't spout nonsense. I'll F*** king 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 F 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 Sun Schwaran, Master said that I'm her last disciple. She won't accept anyone else. Maybe Master just found a new boyfriend. With Master's EQ, do you think it's more likely that she took in a new disciple or a new boyfriend? Sun Schwaran. It's unlikely that I'll get a boyfriend. Okay, I think it's more likely that I'll get a new disciple. Lin Yan refreshed her page and realized that this bunch of rascals had started to comment on her post. They were even criticizing her EQ. What happened to her EQ? Not only did she accept a new disciple, but she also had a new boyfriend. When the time came, she would definitely sneak out with her boyfriend and dazzle all these rascals. The international competition, yeah. The international competition was about to begin. When the time came, those rascals would definitely come looking for her. She was afraid that they would cause trouble again. Chapter 1259. After they left, Lin Yan attended an event with Duo. When the event was about to end, she read Pei Yucheng's message. Pei Yucheng, do you want to have dinner together tonight? Lin Yan, sure. But, what about Shaoli? Pei Yucheng, bring Shaoli along. Lin Yan typed, sure. Pei Yucheng, we'll wait for you in the underground parking lot. Lin Yan entered the underground parking lot through the VIP entrance. Duo nagged at her as she walked. What did Xiao Keshuan mean? The organizers clearly arranged for you to appear as the finale, but she dilly-dallied and insisted on dragging it out until the end, snatching your finale. Lin Yan waved her hands dismissively. I'm in a hurry to eat. It's better to appear earlier. Duo glared at her. Can you be more mindful? Now that your status is rising, your resources are getting better and better. When Legend airs, you'll definitely become even more popular. That's why she has been trying to suppress you. Besides, she has been getting closer to Lin Shia. I wonder what she's up to. Lin Yan stroked Duo's cheeks. Look at you. You're always worried. You're almost like an old lady. Don't worry. No matter what they've done in the dark, no one in Summit Entertainment can touch me. Duo sighed. Don't think that you'll be fine just because you have Pei Yuqing support. I'm worried because of him. Although Lin Yan had Pei Yuqing's connections, Xiao Keshuan had the backing of the crown prince, Pei Yutong. Hence, she had maintained a stable position all these years. The worst part was that Lin Yan's relationship with Pei Yuqing was extremely dangerous. If word got out, she would be done for. Pei Yuqing's fans would crush her to ashes. Ever since she had confirmed that Lin Yan and Pei Yuqing were dating, Duo had been on tenterhooks every day. It was as though she was walking on a tightrope. Lin Yan was speechless. Why did this child think that there was something going on between her and Pei Yuqing? Lin Yan was about to speak when a tiny figure dashed towards her. Sister. Xiao Li. Lin Yan beamed at the sight of the adorable little fellow. All her worries and exhaustion were forgotten. Big sister. Xiao Li misses you so much. The little fellow's eyes lit up when he saw her. It was as if he had the whole world in his hands. As if he wasn't used to saying such things, the tips of the little fellow's ears turned red, and his little face looked a little embarrassed. Lin Yan's heart melted as she stroked the little fellow's head. I missed you too. I'll bring you out for a feast later. She obviously didn't like children, so why did she like this little guy that she met by chance so much? At the same time, Duo, who was standing behind Lin Yan, stared at the little boy who had appeared out of nowhere. This child is... Before Lin Yan could introduce him, Duo shrieked. Oh my god. Air. What's wrong? Lin Yan looked confused. Duo pulled Lin Yan aside and shook her violently. You. Sister Yan. Is he your illegitimate child with Mr. Pei? Lin Yan was speechless. What the hell? Lin Yan was perplexed. Excuse me. Where did you get such a terrifying idea? End of this chapter. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.